We've upgraded the B stream, guys. The later it gets on, we had to improve the talent-wise. We had to do and bring back the B stream band.
It's literally in our names.
Yeah, Banks, B stream, Bismarck, B stream. We're fine. Yeah. We got this. Tom, Biz, and Banks ready to rock.
If we go to the A stream ever, we have to change our names.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not going to get there.
You just remove one letter.
Hey, Anks.
Anks. It don't quite sound.
Nah, it doesn't sound as legit, does it?
No.
Doesn't sound as legit at all. But it's Chicago time. We've seen 4 best of 1 so far. Now we get into the best of 3s. It's time to rock it. And I guess the most upset we've seen, right, is the United Na'Vi game. That looked crazy.
I don't even know how. Like, I genuinely don't understand. Maybe it's the sort of like coming off another event, just being a little bit too cocky and just throwing it away. Obviously, the thing is with this, it works quite nicely for them because they go into a best of 3.
Yeah.
It's not like a straight elimination of best of 1. So I don't think Na'Vi are going to be too worried about that one. But obviously, I think that's coming up tomorrow, I believe. Yeah. So they can't be eliminated today, at least. That would be amazing.
On day one, Na'Vi going out would be pretty tragic.
But crazier things have happened. I still remember Mouse Sports Star Series. That was ridiculous. Like the heaviest favourites I've seen in a tournament for a while, and then didn't even make it out of groups.
It's the way it goes sometimes. That is the way it goes. But Chicago's looking like a top-tier, solid event. You can see some of the scheduled games you've got up there at the moment. And we can see, it's like MVP, right? That was
That's
a team.
That's what's been played, yeah.
Yeah, that was... there we go.
There we go. We're scrolling down. We're scrolling down.
So we get MVP versus NRG first. Now, that's quite an interesting one because NRG, you would definitely put them right at kind of being on that tier for the America where you'll look at the top, okay, they're doing well, but they still have these inconsistencies, right? And I think that's going to be the main thing. If MVP can try and exploit that, we might see a third map come into play, but it is going to take some, like, top-level play. I need to see all of MVP doing well. It can't just be, like, Solo and the Young Guns playing well. Like, Zion's had some fantastic games recently, but it needs to be everyone all at one time.
Yeah, I think in this matchup as well, it's one of the sort of worst ones they can get because there's so many like high firepower players on that team. I think they've sort of been pieced together from different backgrounds. I think obviously Cert coming in there is just an incredible talent, and I think that's the sort of thing that worries me. I think if like him, Ethan, one of them has a good game, I don't think there's anybody on MVP who can actually do anything. I don't think it will matter. Like they could all play well, but you get those 2 players, you're screwed. Well,
the odds say it all there in your Betway odds 4.30 for MVP. Though if they did walk away with a win, you'd be doing pretty hefty winnings off that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't complain.
It's good odds, but
it's good
at the
odds.
same time, it's not good odds for them because I just don't see them winning this.
It's justified odds, right? It's odds that you can go, cool, that makes sense. Map pool-wise, MVP, we can only look so much because they play against so many of their own teams in their region.
And
NRG's
even then, they lose some of those. Like that's the sort of thing. Like if you when we look at Tyloo and we go, okay, they're the best in their region, and then they come here and they upset some of the good teams, you can sort of go, okay, yeah, well that makes sense. But then when you're not even the best, maybe not even the second best in the sort of Asian region, then you're looking at it and going, okay, we're going to need a bit of a miracle here. And that's the thing. They have qualified for a fair few tournaments in like that second place slot. I know they've been at a few Star Series, but most of the time they've just been absolutely bodied. I still remember it was like when VP was in their downward slump, they almost managed to beat them and then just lost, I think it was in OT, 6 rounds in a row. And I was just like, how do you do that? Like they were 3-0 up and then lost 6 rounds in a row and lost to VP. And I was just like, if you can't even close a game against a team that at that point was dying, you sort of go, we're in a little bit of trouble. Yeah,
where are we sat right now? Well, let's have a look at these vetoes and decide where this best of 3 is going to go. And I think for MVP, right, they love a bit of Mirage. They love to play... They like to play the staple maps, but I think this is where definitely NRG can take the advantage. You can see Overpass ban comes in straight away. You know why? Because NRG are just top tier on that. Ooh, okay, I like the Dust2 pick. That's going to be an interesting starter. Train makes sense for the second as well. Where do we go on the last? I guess we might see Inferno now, yeah.
I don't think we're getting there.
There we go. just after the first few maps, probably not.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Dust2 and Train. Yeah, done.
I'd love to see MVP play well on Dust2. I could go really, really old and prove my age on the fact that Solo, he used to be pretty damn sick on Dust2, but that was back in 1.6.
I thought you were going to say like you were his dad or something. Right.
I'm not that old. I'm old, but I'm definitely not his dad.
I know you've had a past in Korea, so it's definitely possible.
Thanks, mate.
It's not possible. But
you seem to know more about my time in Korea than I do. At least what I can remember.
I've never even been, but you know. I've been invited. I've been invited actually by manager of MVP.
There you go. Kan Yang.
Yeah,
man, the legend,
lovely,
the
lovely man.
He's an esports gangster, but the question is, can his little Korean gangsters get this round?
Yeah, already we do see them. They've started on the T side. I think this map at the moment, it's pretty much just momentum. Like, it always was, in a way, but I think even more so now. We can see, like, ridiculous halves, and we're already going to see Breezy sat towards back of car. Now, the push is coming in. They're looking to just do a sort of classic split in as they peek back towards short. But there's already 3 players around this, a bit more of a gamble coming in. While this, I'm surprised he only gets 1. Actually, the trade there for the T side really isn't bad at all. The push coming up from Zeta, trying to get onto the site, but the bomb has been dropped, quickly picked up, and you can tell the CTs are just going to be sat there in a retake.
Yeah, this retake shouldn't be too difficult for NRG. We've got only 1 smoke to play with, but they can try and force the aggression here. 2 players on site. Question is, what can Zeta and Glow do here? It's tapping away, can't make them managing to land the shot. Cirque, though, taking a little bit of damage. He's trying to play it smart, but it's not working out. He gets pushed, he's running out of bullets. Glow does get 1, but Ethan straight on the defuse. He doesn't give a damn. Question is, Cirque... Ethan jumps off it. He was not allowing that to go down. NRG claimed the pistol round, and I'd say that's actually a pretty convincing pistol. Breezy's position there, right behind Car, they were watching for it. They knew he'd be behind there. And luckily, I think it was Fugly comes out at that time, right, and just causes the distraction. But like you said, Breezy probably should have been able to get away with a little bit more than just 1.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising that was traded so effectively, and the start from MVP wasn't too bad. It was just like after that, sort of on the cross, where they slowed down a little bit, as you said, because it was surprising, obviously being caught off guard. They have actually gone for more of a investment into this one. Obviously, getting the bomb down now allows you quite a bit of extra money. Obviously, we've still got the extra loss bonus in, and they've got a couple of AKs behind this. And you look at the CT purchase, I wouldn't even say it's that much better than what we have on the T side.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? This is where the new money changes come into play. MVP are going to try and force this up. That bomb down certainly did help them, but it's going to be more, I think, if NRG makes some mistakes here.
Yeah, actually, all in all, there's more rifles at least, or the same, I suppose, if you include the FAMAS, but I don't. I think it sucks. I think there's obviously...
Some players are capable of it, but yeah, it's not...
I'm pretty sure, this was ages ago, MBK once said, oh, if you play CS, you have to be able to play with the FAMAS. And then it just sort of came, there was the UMP era where it was just that was the only gun ever used if you were on a weak buy. And it sort of happened again with other SMGs, a lot of people bringing in the MP5, MP9's always been popular, so definitely not the case. And, well, Ethan, we'll see if he can pull it off. 50 seconds left now. The T's are slowly going to make their way in towards shore. Again, still a couple of players here, and I always like seeing someone just sat in Goose. It's just a pain, especially when you're going for the bomb plant. Even if that's sort of your goal of the round, a player in Goose can pretty much ruin that, especially when he's got that trusty SMG. We are going to see Molotov in towards the site, but they're starting to run out of time. This is the thing, the CT side, they haven't actually rotated yet, but the T's, they've got 25 seconds. Cirque already going to find 1, hitting a shot onto the cross. They're still trying to push him here. Zeph actually takes the pick, and, well, Fugly, I said his position was strong. He gets absolutely nothing done, and it's going to come down to a retake again for NRG.
And Breezy's going to have to come up huge here. Ethan's going on to short, but there's 2 players waiting for him. Good positions, but they line up. Little bit of a trade-off, still in favor of MVP, but Zion already low, down on 5 health. Breezy, he spotted out 1 player looking for the next. Knows the Zion will be coming around from short. With just a scout in hand, though, how much can he get done? Tries to duck away, but he walks away with a swift, clean headshot with it, which will see MVP bounce back for a 1-for-1 here. So it's not all doom and gloom early on for the Koreans.
But I think that really is just the sort of power of that new meta. They really have, the small amount of money that you get changes those sort of rounds completely. And while for the CT side, they don't have that same sort of luxury. Obviously, it's only at the beginning, after you lose the first pistol, that you get that extra bonus. And even still, they're probably going to have to eco for another round after this, because, well, unless they're going to try and fight this with a load of scouts or some SMGs.
Yeah, it'd be a bit of a questionable decision, especially in the early rounds here. Not required from NRG. Funny enough, right, we saw right at the beginning of the new update where everyone was picking up the AUG and they were using the Krieg as well, but now... not seeing it so much, even the players that are really enjoying it.
Tell that to Carrigan.
Yes, yes.
I think people a bit, what was it? He was trying to say something like Kriegigan or something. It was absolutely atrocious pun, and that's coming from me.
Kriegigan.
I've seen some pretty bad ones. But, you know, maybe you could do something with Org. I don't know. But either way, this is not going too badly for the CT side considering the investment. They're into a 3-on-3. Chance of winning the round slim to none. They don't have a kit. They've got no utility. And they're trying to actually play a round long. Now, I think this is more them trying to maybe steal a weapon away, do some extra damage. And that's exactly what they're doing. Cirque has found another pick. The problem is, from this position, while Daps would need to pull off some sort of miracle because he's nowhere near the site and he's not got that much time left.
Yeah, this is more to see what damage he can do. Maybe catch some of the players just going to try and save themselves at long. Obviously, MVP still want to be careful. They don't want him to try and sneak in. Daps, though, going to walk away with the first kill. Will he get the second, though? Picks up the AK. Now he can do some real damage. It's up to Zyne, but Zyne proves too strong. Good effort from Daps, and he's done at least his duty for now. But it's going into this next round where it's the hard decision for NRG to make. Like you said, most likely to be the eco here, but do we force up with some pistols? Daps grabbing a P250. Nothing else going to be invested, so they just want to go full hardcore for the next round and then try and start climbing the rounds back up. But you never know. We do see some crazy stuff coming to pistols, but I think this will be a 3-1 in favor of MVP early on here.
Yeah, and an important sort of comeback at the beginning. As I said, this map has really been about momentum as of recent, so they've gone for a bit of a B stack. Now, I feel like, at least for me, when watching Dust2, this map comes down, or always has come down to some gambles on your CT side. Obviously, in these sort of rounds, it's much of a muchness because you've got nothing to play with anyway. But in the sort of normal rounds, you sort of have to try and take control of certain positions. You'll see 3 players heading in towards long. In some of the rounds, you'll see maybe a little bit more mid presence, or maybe even only 1 player towards B. I think that's more of a common one, at least. But I'm interested to see how NRG are actually going to work that, because it's one of those maps where unless everybody's playing insane, you can't cover every position all of the time.
Yeah, certainly not possible. And it's how MVP can try to, I guess, exploit any of the flaws they see in any NRG's defense here. A good attempt on a B stack, but MVP, they forced their way into the push into tunnels. They throw a few smokes and grenades, give a bit of presence, but ultimately they've decided to hit this A-bomb site every single round.
40 seconds left. And this is going to be pretty anticlimactic, to be honest, because they're just going straight into A and everyone's on B. It's one of those rounds where you sort of kind of hope they push into the stack just for the entertainment value, but they've literally just walked into an empty site here. So the CT side probably going to rotate, try and do a little bit of damage. They've got absolutely nothing to lose. It's just a few pistols. And in reality, if they can take away a weapon or two, you can see over on that T side, they don't actually have a huge amount of cash. Obviously, a flawless round like this would be fantastic for them. The Ts really don't need to go hunting. Maybe they expected more of an investment than there is, but actually, Zyne, this could be a bit of stat padding. Never mind, he gets 1.
There was the hope, right? He sees them all, he lines them up, he's like, this is doable. But nope, instead he'll walk away with only 1 kill. Breeze is going to grab himself the AK. It makes sense to just save that through to the next round. The bomb's basically going to blow now. An MVP at least. They keep 4 alive. They build a bit more bank of that economy. But this is the round that's going to be truly do or die, because it's going to be NRG buying up in full. Cirque already on the AWP. We'll have plenty of money for utility on the rest of the players as well, especially with Breezy saving that AK-47 as well. Works out really well for him. And the pause coming in. Would this be a tactical from MVP early on?
Or from NRG?
Is there some method of the madness?
The thing is, going into these sort of earlier rounds, it is going to be like an important start for either side. We do actually have an AEG, so there you go. It is still coming in strong. I think there's a few players who especially don't necessarily like the rifles particularly, like going with the M4. Like Carrigan, I think, is one of the sort of highlight ones where he's been excellent with these sort of, I'm going to say new guns, but they're not new. They're just a little bit cheaper.
Reinvented.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like sort of when you get like a small discount code and for some reason you then buy double the amount of stuff. It's like, it's not that great. You actually had a problem where it was too cheap for you to hit that. I had to order too much stuff,
I had to buy
Tom.
more just so I can get my food delivered.
But I do that. I think that's like with any pizza place where you get like 50% off and you order more food than you could ever eat in your life.
Save it for a couple of days, put it in the fridge, no problems. Cold pizza. Some people are with it, some people are without it. Definitely, as long as it doesn't have pineapple, it's all good.
Launders will fight you on that one.
I know he will. Now, the interesting thing here, MVP, they're taking their time. They're the guys who had the tech pause. That's what it ended up being. But this is just confusing to me. They don't seem to be too sure on what they were going to do here.
Having just a little bit of a chat.
Yeah, waiting around in T-spawn, letting the time tick down. Now, they have been playing it slow, to be fair, but at least for NRG side of things, this is where they could get a little bit of their kind of cold feet and want to start moving forward a bit. They go, hey, wait a second, we're not hearing anything. We haven't got any information, so let's try and play off this a little bit more.
Well, especially after the last year, because that has been the problem. Like they've always had it like 3 players over on this A site, but we've never seen those B site players ever take any sort of gambles. There's not been much of a rotation. If anything, like I feel like NRG are playing this a little bit too passive. I think they've just missed a smoke as well at mid, which bit of a problem for the T's.
Especially when you've got a man like Cirque. You miss a smoke like that, he's going to be opening up and going, ah, cool, you've just gifted me free vision to do some serious damage.
He's currently playing back on the site. It's a little bit of a bait here as Breezy is just waiting on the other side. Just going to keep the aggressive angle on both T players, hitting their shot now, running into the hands of Cirque, but he's not going to connect either. Multiple players pushing in, and he needs to start getting some of these kills, otherwise he's going to get completely overwhelmed. Zine just running in and taking him down, exactly what he needed to do. And while the remaining CT players have no choice but to save, and that is pretty much just a round of, well, a few mistakes coming in for NRG. They had the short set up, they were ready, they were waiting. They even had the AWP as backup. Cirque doesn't hit a single shot.
It was funny though, right? Because they were in the perfect position, NRG, but as soon as Solo pre-fired that top of short, they just changed up. They were like, okay, we're ready for this. And then Fugly didn't peek out correctly. Breezy was just left there to get 1 kill, but then the double headshots come in. MVP looking pretty strong so far, at least aim-wise on this Dust2. Slow start, looked a bit confusing, but they're still looking to walk away of the round here. I wouldn't see a requirement to try and push and take these weapons now. Okay, you've got some money, but your money's not fantastic. But Ethan goes down anyway. Dap's going to try and cower away in the corner. Takes a dink and we just about managed to survive. So that's the only weapon that NRG are going to have going into this round. Money's not too hot, but they might try and get some pistols off the back of this into it. And that's exactly what happens. A few pistols being dropped over. See a dig up on Cirque. I think the big thing on that past round was just that Cirque missed so many AWP shots. Now, okay, you do it. It happens from time to time. But that's when he needed...
I missed more than I hit.
Well, I'd expect that from you, Tom. I can't say my stats are much better on that, but I was meaning more, we expect Cirque, right, to deliver the easy shots there. Instead, what ended up happening was he allows MVP to fully just take control of that round. He was the last standing defense.
Yeah, but that's also one of the sort of classic Dust2 AWP positions. Like, I think if I picture Kenny pretty much anywhere, it's exactly where he was, just chilling on that site. And it's one of those things where every single player, every single AWPer will know those angles, and you expect them to get one. Especially that second shot, it was sort of like he already knew where the player was going to be, and it almost looked like he had it perfectly lined up. But obviously, you can give him a little bit of a break. We'll be coming back in the next round with another AWP, but it's a great start for MVP. And as I said, you get that momentum rolling. It can be a map where you just basically play off spawns a lot of the time. You're very aggressive, and while they play off the spawn here, they catch the CTs. Obviously, again, it is only pistols. Breezy's actually managed to get a couple. He has been the sort of light at the end of the tunnel for this team so far in this map. A few kills on the board. Not anything to really write home about. However, his teammate Ethan has just been ruined.
That 5-7's doing work, though. Put down Solo to 12 health. Obviously not finishing him off there, but this means that Daps, this is not an unwinnable situation. If they come out at the right time here, he's got the scoped in AUG. He's ready to do some damage. He's slowly taking his time with it. Gets the first one. Solo's low as well. They need to be seriously careful. Go to B at this point, because you've still got a minute on the clock.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing. They've got so much time to play with, so they can pretty much reset this round and even go back to A if they really wanted to. The clock is not against them at all.
Around the world.
Okay.
That's what you said, around the whole... You go back to A. That's around the world, right? You go to B, you go to A, go to A, go to B. Run around the whole thing. Yeah. That actually used to be the Dust2 tactic, was called around the world.
Well, wasn't that also... Oh, what was the... Strat Roulette. That was one of the strats.
Yes.
I used to love playing that. It was so much fun. But obviously, you had to make sure you had 5 players, otherwise that fifth... Like, I've done that a couple of times. Either way, Daps going into the 1v2, doesn't even get a chance. Mini finds the kill on him before. The thing is, there was an opportunity there for him with Solo being so low, but he needed to find that pick.
I think he needed it. When you saw when Solo went and shoulder peeked out a little bit and then realised, let's actually not take this fight, look at my health and stuff. If he'd overextended a little bit further, Daps would have got that, and then it's a winnable scenario. But Daps had the kit. He did the best of what he could do. He'll buy into this round as with the rest of the team. But this is the big buy now coming out from NRG. Everyone is fully stacked up on utility and weaponry. And again, the question is going to have to be, what damage can we see Cirque do going into this round? He's going to be playing at Car on A long. And MVP, they don't take these angles aggressively just yet. Solo's actually going very fast up here on short. Does a lot of damage onto Cirque. Can't finish him off. Cirque, I don't even think he's fired a shot just then. And Solo can just pressure this a bit while the rest of the team work around the map. He's not actually under too much pressure himself to be kind of taking the fights. He's got control now.
Yeah, this is one of the prime examples of sort of not being able to cover all the positions all of the time. And this time it was actually exploited by MVP. They're going to try and go pushing into the B side though. But this is the sort of power of not over-rotating. We see a TK come in as well as Glow puts down his teammate. Now the CT side. Oh, look at the rotation all the way back. Breezy, he is the one aggressor on this team. He's the one man looking to take fights at all times, and that's exactly what he's doing. From the flank, great shot from Zeta, though. Puts him down, and this comes back right into a 2v2. The problem is the HP. 2 and 6, Solo and Zeta very low. Daps still on this B side. They've just split themselves 1-for-1. The bomb is going, rotating back in towards the spawn, but it seems very disjointed at the moment from MVP. The problem is, it's sort of a tough decision to make. No matter where you go at the moment, there's going to be a player waiting for you. Daps obviously a little bit wary that they could go backing towards this B site. And Cirque actually going right into mid. He may be able to catch the man with the bomb, and that should be the round over. Only 20 seconds left on the clock, and Solo has to go back to find the bomb. Doesn't know where his opponent is, but doesn't spot him on short, so can assume he's gone back. But they can just bait the clock down here.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. There's no need for them to try and overextend. There's no idea for them to push too far forward.
He has got this.
Oh. Cirque was like, I know if I keep jumping, this will happen. This will be possible.
It didn't matter what happened there either way. If his opponent took his hand off the bomb, the round ended. And also, if you take it off the bomb and you die anyway, then it's sort of a worst case because you could lose all of that extra bonus money, which obviously for MVP wasn't a huge amount going into that round. But even still, we can see how much damage the NRG have been doing. Because this is, what was it? How many rounds in a row? Was it 4? Or was it 5 in a row? Yeah, no, it was 5 in a row.
Yeah, they're 5 in a row off that pistol, and this is the second round NRG's grabbed.
Yeah, the second round that they've got, and look at the money that's in at the moment for MVP. It really isn't good. They're going to go straight in towards this B site, and it's actually been fairly heavily defended for NRG. They've always had 2 players on it. That hasn't changed all the way through. The split through mid does actually work out, and Glow with a double gives them a chance back into this round. Now, the B site, pretty damn hard to retake.
The hardest site to retake in CSGO at the moment, in my eyes. Like, the B site is, if you're the CTs, you can defend it well. I like the idea of NRG having 2 players in there. It makes sense. But yeah, look at this, the run around. They don't want to play this no more. Solo's in a great spot, actually, because it depends if Fugly's going to be aware of where he could be playing from. I hope that they're going to send a Glow with the bomb A long. They don't have a smoke, though, so you can't get the crossover. Solo's going to try and do some damage with this AWP in his hand. He's looking down into CT spawn. He expects at least 1 player to come from there. Cirque not being on the AWP himself, now starting to second guess it and think, okay, look, I need to keep an eye on B as well. So you've split the CTs. This is the ideal situation here. And a smoke does get picked up in the end, actually. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Did he pick it up? I don't think it was there before.
Absolutely no idea. But either way, there was nobody watching it. So he had the perfect cross. Managed to get themselves into this 2 versus 2. Now, the way that this round started off, it looked like NRG had the setup. They had everything right. Now they have to retake once again. And the retakes haven't worked out for them so far. This is a reset round for them. They've only just managed to win 1. Push comes in. Solo misses the shot, though. Leaves his teammate out to dry, and it's left all onto him. 1 versus 1. Cirque doesn't have the AWP, but he's going to look to take it out of his opponent's hand, and it will be NRG to at least streak a couple together. But that was way too close.
I also, like, yeah, Cirque, you clutched it out 1v1. That's a fair round, but if Solo had the AWP then, didn't go for the Tech 9, because he was so open, that could have been quite an easy shot for him to hit. So, still not flawless from NRG, a good round regardless. I think it's definitely down to them B players, the fact that they managed to put up such a defense, regardless of being split like that, both coming from mid and the B tunnels itself. But MVP, they're not making this easy. They're going to now force up. You spoke about their money. That's why we've got Mac 10s and UMPs in plays, even a Galil, only 1 extra AK up on Glow. They've got no fear pushing into this long area. They've already forced the CTs back. NRG don't want to take the challenge here. Still no contact as of yet. Fugly's got to be careful. But Solo, you can't whiff shots like that. That was a free kill for you.
Yeah, that's actually more of a mistake from Fugly, just not like really not being aware.
It, just walking straight out on shore.
That is a huge risk, but well, gets a little bit lucky. Mistakes are made by his opponent, and hey, he can now just play more passive, fall back to the side. They're still looking to try and challenge this a little bit.
Yeah.
That's been one of the big pressure points for MVP, and I quite like the fact that NRG have this time gone, okay, well, you just pushed all the way up here last time, so we're now going to react and take a little bit of control back.
That's certainly what we're looking at for now. NRG in the good spot. They've got the number advantage, positions being hold.
The thing is, at this point, utility is just bad for both teams. There really is huge limitations.
Yeah, a lot's been spent early on.
Oh, it's going to be
allowing them to push in nicely.
There's no one there for the CT side, though. They're just waiting for the retake. But to be honest, for MVP, that's not too bad a scenario. Their money's not in a great case. The round's not looking too good for them anyway, so at least getting a bomb plant is something. Now they can try and fight things back. Flashbang's good, but still manages to get one. It doesn't matter. Ethan is going to clean things up, and it is NRG with another round on the board, but they haven't been clean. This one was more of a case of they just gave up the A side, let them have it, and played for more of a retake. But in all honesty, the way that the round was going anyway, with the defense they initially had on short, I think they probably could have just kept this one cleaner and made sure that MVP don't get that extra cash.
That would have been the ideal scenario as well. Getting that bomb plant was crucial for MVP. Getting their second time out in as well. Go for them tactical strats and see what they can do. I think early on, MVP was able to kind of win out the duels a lot in just the actual aiming fashion, right? And we'd expect NRG to rely a bit more on the teamwork. But on that last couple of rounds there, it's been NRG at least hitting their normal shots to make it work. Like the fact that Fugly was even able to get away with that first kill despite his questionable decision-making on pushing shore. Solo should have just taken him down straight away and given MVP the advantage. So it needs, like I said, it needs to be MVP actually all playing up to standard. We can't have these little slow mistakes here.
I will say also early on, they did a great job of avoiding Ethan, which is just one of those players that in individual battles, he is going to win them like 9 times out of 10. And you see, like, when they pushed B, he found a couple of kills, made sure he held onto the site long enough. In that sort of retake position there, he was ready and set up, pushed back in, found 2 kills again. So he is a man that you don't really want to keep running into. Look at this again, though. I speak about gamble plays. CT side, there's been a lot of a challenge for long. Last time they didn't challenge it at all. This time they had 3 players going up long, 1 waiting on short, and there was nobody, well, other than sort of Daps on the outskirts of B. Just pistols in this round. They've already done quite a lot, and Daps is the only defender left. Now, the bomb wants to split in late just to give a chance to actually get it down, and that may actually happen. They have only invested pistols here. The fact is, though, I think just a little bit too slow. Like, obviously, we can see a lot more than Zeta. He still manages to find a frag. And actually, they are into the site. The thing is, though, this time the CTs, they're not waiting for any sort of retake. They want to deny a plant. They want to deny that extra money. It won't matter in the grand scale of things, as MVP are coming back in with the buy here. But obviously, an extra bomb plant, it may not help you in this round, maybe in the next one. Still, it's great to deny.
Yeah, I like the confidence from NRG there as well. Doesn't matter that Daps got D'd out. The rest of them just pushed in. They weren't going to allow that to get planted. They didn't want MVP to have stronger money scenario to work with. But again, MVP will be back on their buy. It's not the worst buy. I think it's only Zeta that's not going to have the full utility with it. Solo on the Galil. It's not the worst scenario, right? They can make this work. I want to see a little duel between Zeta and Cirque. I want to see that AWP go off between both of them.
The thing is it's interesting. There's been very little aggression from Cirque. It's been very passive play, and well, he's going to be challenged here. This time, he's not missing. He finds that opening pick. A second as well. Glow is gone. And you almost wonder if the T side are going to go, okay, nah, I don't really fancy that one. He's just taken down 2 players without any missing shots. So I think that's the thing as well, is when you see a player miss a couple of shots, you go, I'm going to go for him now. Yeah. And then Cirque just does that, and you're like, okay, back to normal, guys. Let's get ready for the next one. But obviously, 3 versus 5. You can see as well the CT side are really gaining some confidence. Early on, it was only Breezy taking these aggressive sort of pushes. Now we're seeing it from multiple players. Now Daps has gone all the way through the tunnels, got so much information for his team. Now the Ts are going to start rotating back in towards this spot. The fact is, though, there's no way anyone's going to check that. You'd have to be some sort of psychic to know that Daps was waiting around that corner. And they may be able to pincer him in, which could make things a little bit more interesting with getting another bomb plant, but doesn't look to be the case. Daps will shut this down, and Solo, only one left.
Well, they can do this with 5 alive as well. That's a strong round for NRG. It may have started off with MVP battling back against them, taking that false pistol and getting a few rounds on the board. But NRG now, they've stepped up their games. They've got all the money they want to get the weaponry and utility to play with here. And Solo does not expect, just like you were saying, right, pure aggression just coming from NRG from all angles. It doesn't matter where they are now. They're saying, okay, we'll just bring the pain to you, MVP.
Well, that was the thing. And in some of these earlier rounds, we've seen MVP go very aggressive, like early in the round. And that was where they were able to catch players off guard. It seems like in the sort of pauses that we've had, NRG have slowly sort of worked them out. And then they've been fairly good with their timing to take some aggression themselves. Like, for example, Daps in that round to make sure he had the tunnels. And obviously the early round battles being won by Cirque. He's not being caught off by these fast plays anymore. He was ready and waiting with the AWP. And he's in exactly the same again on long. Okay, you've been wanting to rush long. We're going to set up a flash. We'll have a Molotov thrown in by a teammate. And now you got this man on the AWP. And, okay, he missed a couple of shots at the beginning. That was him giving you a chance.
That was Cirque saying, hey, look, I just need to warm this up a little bit, get used to it again. Ah, here we go, back to the normal.
These are the blanks. Now I've got the rest of the bullets.
Could you imagine if that was actually an option in CSGO, just to fire off blanks, just to confuse them?
It's basically what a decoy is.
Yeah, but no one uses decoy. I mean, in your gun, just like...
What, just... You have to load a special cartridge or something.
And you press a different, I don't know, maybe mouse 5 or something and you shoot your blank.
I don't know. It would throw people off. I don't really want to give Valve any ideas because...
Not any terrible ideas, not like this, because they'd probably run with it.
They'll be like, we won't do any of the things you want, but yeah, you know those blanks. There you go. Let's just make this as annoying as possible.
There'll be a blame Banks hashtag forever. That'll be for sure.
Blame Banks about the blanks. That's perfect.
Luckily, I already have children, so that's fine at this stage.
Jesus. I got nothing after that. Either way, 30 seconds left on the clock. The T's have invested into this round. They've got themselves rifles. Not the best, not exactly what you want. They've gone to the budget store. They've head off to Lidl and come back with whatever they've got. But Daps, he's ready and waiting, and they've got everything they desire. The time is really ticking low. Ethan, if he got that second kill, it pretty much would have been done. But actually, the T's are in a position now where they can win this bomb down. We spoke about that B site. Yeah. In all honesty, an SMG in this sort of position is actually not that vulnerable. And look where Solo's standing. He's just waiting to try and hold off any rotations. He's trying to stop them getting into the tunnels, which is the spot that they don't really have to look while he's here. And he's just going to catch Cirque with his pants down completely. And the CTs are going to go chasing. They know this man has to die before they can even think about retaking the site. Oh. And Solo, he doesn't even need to get the kills. He just needs to be that little thorn. Just digging in.
Be annoying and just sit there and cause him to waste time. Doesn't even matter that he goes down at this stage because this is not going to happen for NRG. Bit of a trade-off either way, but Breezy, he'll look to try and clean this up and get the final guns removed. But Zeta, he made the smarter decision. He went to CT spawn. He'll hold on to the orb. So 6-6. Considering though T-side, right, I'd still say, like, it's really weird. Depending on what team it is, back in the day, it always used to be a super T-sided map. Like, you'd see the 11-4s, 10-5 kind of score lines on Dust2. But in how this is newly being played, just different style teams are bringing, we're seeing, depending on what team it is, where they could be strong. Like, Hellraiser's specifically a very T-sided team on this. And, like, here, NRG, I can't remember, from Pro League, did we do much of NRG on Dust2? I don't think so. Not off my memory at near midnight over here in Europe, but... Solo's going to start off strong again, so NRG, got to be careful here. This is where we need Cirque to deliver, right? He needs to turn the tide of this round. Plays it a little bit risky, goes out, but no one's there hunting for him just yet. He can play off the edge of that smoke quite nicely, looking to see if anyone's going to be in pit.
Look at the CTs. I spoke about previously how they've been...
There you go.
Okay. How they've been like so slow to rotate. They've always left 2 players. This time they've rotated everybody. There is nobody on B. They have short control. They have mid control. And I kind of understand it, because although in like some of the later scenarios when it's like a 2v2, 1v1, MVP have been more entitled to sort of like rotate. In a lot of the scenarios where it's 4v4, they have actually sort of stuck to their guns and tried to push the issue on A. So the CT side may not be in a bad spot here, especially if they go challenging into mid. This short control would be so valuable for them.
Yeah, Daps is going to have to be the main man here. He's in the position behind the door. He'll hear what's going on. Fugly's going to be ready for it, puts the smoke down in front of him. He's going to play off the edge of it. Do they spray through it, though? Maybe they don't expect to be pushed up. This could really do well for Fugly. Starts spraying him out, walks away with... Oh, Oh no, the TK comes in from Solo, but Fugly was definitely going to get 2 kills there either way. Cirque finishing him off, and now Zeto all alone. Be careful, you're out in the open against Cirque, and he's never going to miss a shot like that. That'll give NRG the 7th, and when they do win the rounds, right, it's where they're a bit more convincing. 4 alive, 3 alive, 5 alive we've even seen. Where MVP, it's been a little bit scrappier the whole way through, right?
Well, yeah, even in some of the pistol rounds, we were seeing Breezy get 2 kills with a 5-7 and just make it so they were costly. Like we speak about the sort of like they lost the first round, they win 5 rounds in a row, then the one that they lose, they come back with a MAC-10 and a UMP in thereby. So they were definitely much, much closer rounds in the grand scale of things. Even if they never really looked like they were slipping away, NRG were making sure that they just chip away at that economy. Come on out. Push going to come in towards mid, but this is more of a farming exercise for the NRG side. Still, Zeta will get a kill. They've been reasonably good at least getting picks. The problem is when it comes to the later rounds, just so fast. I love watching Cirque play. It's just exciting.
If I'm right, you used to commentate him like right in his early career days as well, right?
Well, yeah, well, he was around in the sort of different Bulgarian team. It is really sort of surprising seeing like a Bulgarian player flown out. Also surprising to see a player get 2 kills with the Glock.
Yeah, that should have never been allowed, but Glow manages to force the issue, but it's all on Solo with, again, just the Glock on the bomb, so he's likely to just go down here. The best thing he can hope for is just to try and pick up a gun.
Well, okay, there we go. That went a little bit longer than I would have liked. Obviously, for NRG, it doesn't actually make any difference. Like, normally we talk about, okay, yeah, they've lost a few players. It's the last round of the half. Yeah. They're going to buy no matter what. They'll have exactly what they desire. They've got the AWP. That was saved. MVP, I do like the fact that they're taking a lot of pauses. Like, clearly taking the time to talk all of this through, slow down the pace of the game. Obviously, over the last few, NRG have been fairly dominant. That's been the bigger problem. And Daps, Dirty Daps is what we're going to call him.
Oh, God, he's brought that out. So, yeah, Daps on the auto sniper looking to try and bring the pain. Question is, how many times do we see someone, other than the Smooyer event, right, pick up an auto sniper and then they walk away with nothing from the round?
WSG Grand Final, Golden becomes one of the most hated players ever for using a gun that's in the game.
Oh, the Valve want you to use.
How terrible is that? Using a gun that's in the game, Banks.
Just think about this. Imagine if Valve now reduced the cost of the auto snipers.
Yeah, great.
Could you up that?
To be honest, like, I'm all for it. Well, that is a risky play. They succeeded actually running through the Molotov before, but
yeah, they committed a little bit too hard to this long push, and they've really paid the price here. This is an easy round for NRG, unless Zion and Solo, who are more than capable players, they'd have to deliver beyond what we've seen across anything in this game so far from either side. So you haven't even got the bomb. Breezy's on aggression. He just fully wanted to take the fight. He wants to close out this round. He wants to get it done and dusted early on here.
Yeah, I think this one... that's the thing. I think when MVP have won their rounds, they've started very strong. We see them get a couple of kills. Okay, there was the sort of round on the B side which went a bit haywire along the way, but most of the time when NRG have been in the lead, they've closed out their rounds. So I'd be very surprised to see anything here. Daps is even going to get one with that filthy, filthy auto sniper. And Zion, he's trying to pre-fire these spots, but let's be real, that was never going to happen. 9-6, fantastic turnaround in the end from NRG. They were, what, 5-1 down?
Yeah, 5-1 down, only allowing MVP to get one more round on the board. They're not going to complain about that. And we'll be going into the second half very shortly, guys. But before that, we're going to go to a quick break. So stick with us, don't go anywhere, and we'll see you soon. Banks and Bismire, the B-Stream Bandits, back for the second half of Dust2 between NRG and MVP. Second map will be trained, but the question is, will we ever need a third map? Because MVP, they started off strong here on Dust2, Tom. It was looking good, but once NRG got the ball rolling, once Cirque started delivering those shots, and to be fair, even Daps had some solid rounds there with the Owl holding down that B site, that's when it started to change. MVP now on their CT side, not only do they need to pick up this pistol, but they need to be looking at a pretty clear, clean start to Dust2 now.
Yeah, well, we got Breezy. A little bit of a raid boss. I'd call it a mini raid boss. He's got P250. You don't really go all out so much anymore, but we are going to see that aggression's a lot. Look how aggressive Solo is. That is literally a solo push.
Oh, no.
And he manages to take one. Now, that's not actually that bad a trade in the pistol round. Again, so much information. He should have really just died with absolutely nothing. Now, the cross smoke is going to come in, and at the back of the site over on B, there's going to be a lot to do for Glow. He has everything on his shoulders because this site is very difficult to retake. He at least needs 2, really, for them to have a chance. He gets absolutely nothing done, and while retaking this, it's going to be hard.
Do you know what? The funny thing about that solo play is, on Cobble and Dust2 back in 1.6, he used to go so aggressive always at mid, and he had ridiculous aim. In CSGO, we haven't seen that from him. We've not seen that kind of style come out here. And I don't think it really works so much anymore, right? Unless you're going to straightaway walk. As soon as he missed the first shot top mid, he was like, oh, okay. And then he kind of has to kind of deal with it right after that.
Wow. It is going to be the second pistol. It's actually interesting because you were sort of talking about the NA Pro League side of things, and you were saying, oh, have we seen NRG on Dust2? It has. I don't think it's actually, no, it's not been played in Pro League at all. It's been played in another online season, which shall not be named for reasons. And yeah, they really don't play it much at all. Both times they played it this year has been against Liquid. They've beat them once and lost once. So it's sort of like much for much. It's not a map they really throw into their map pool. Still doing all right though, really.
Well, guys, you can visit esports.betway.com. The odds have massively gone in favor of NRG, and now they will look to try and close this out in a convincing fashion after getting that pistol round as well, right? Convert the next few rounds. MVP's not going to have the money to play with as much. It's really going to be a tough fight for MVP to come back on, but it's not impossible on a map like Dust2. It just, again, like we said, it needs to be everyone stepping up. Like, Zeph's had a really quiet game this time. Yeah,
the thing is, he's had a quiet game. I'm more worried about Zyne, because he's someone who I feel like lifts this team up, like has like impressive sort of clutching ability and can have those sort of big rounds. Currently sat on 7 kills. So although like for me, I'm not really looking at Zeph to like put in the heavy numbers, whereas with Zyne, I think it's much more necessary. And on this CT side, I just think they're going to need to really step up. Nice double nade. Sort of an almost even trade of HP. Cirque will go down low. I imagine he's just going to give the AK over to someone else and they'll just carry on. There hasn't been too much money or really any money saved, which a lot of the time you will see. Obviously, you still come in with a fairly weak buy. It's sort of like the buy that you would have had in the 4th round. Now you can have in the 3rd round. But if you save, you could even have a fantastic buy, or force, then save, then you have a fantastic buy in round number 4. So that's probably what MVP are going to go for. The problem is it will leave NRG with likely an extra round, but here we go. Zyne, I bet he wanted that kill, because that would have been an extra little bit of money for him. And
yeah, that didn't make sense.
actually, look how much damage they've done. The scout finds so much, and then Glow just sprays them all down. Again, it's the same scenario we saw in the first half. Pistol round 1, force buy from MVP, and they go and win it.
You got to convert them pistols, and NRG's not been able to get it done, right? It's all about getting the pistol and trying to build the extra few rounds, but instead MVP already straight out of the gates, fighting back once again. We're seeing a repeat here, Tom, and now it's NRG who's only going to have pistols to play with. Not impossible, but MVP, it certainly all worked in their favor that round.
Yeah, that really is. It's sort of a little bit worrying for MVP, though, that they're still going to be losing even after this sort of point, but either way, they're doing a much better job in their anti-ecos this time, already finding the first couple of opening picks. Solo in a bit of a dirty spot, not going to be checked, and flawless, absolutely flawless. That's excellent for MVP. A great way to sort of bounce back after losing the pistol, but it worries me in a sense, because you think how dominant this could have been if NRG could convert their pistol rounds.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? The scoreline would be completely different right now. That first half could have been a a 10-5, 11-4 kind of thing. Yeah, it's like even potentially more.
Because they were 5-1 down, and what, they won the half 9-6. Yeah. So if you look at it that way, you could have even had like a 14-1, in all honesty. Like, it's a bit of a push, but at the same time, like, if they just managed to convert the pistols, get off to the same streak they had at the beginning, they only gained in confidence from there. That nade.
Oh, money.
Well, Zine, he has stepped up. He's padding his stats a little bit, and that's always good for a player to build into a game. And, well, he's gone from what was 7 kills already up to 12. It's only been a couple of rounds.
He'll take that. I don't think he's going to complain. He's also going to take that money, 9.6K in the bank, making the SMG rain down money for him. Now, the scoreline's got close, but this is where NRG is going to come into full flow. No warp up on Cirque, though. Weren't able to afford that one, but I don't think T-side, okay, yeah, you would certainly can be used, but you can just go for a heavy execute, a heavy rush here, and it's not going to kind of destroy what NRG are trying to do here.
But that was actually one of the big successes from MVP when they were getting their rounds, was the faster pushes to find those opening picks. It seems like NRG are in much more of a default, though. They've taken a lot of map control, looking to take a bit of a fight through long, but ultimately, as of right now, just trying to wait to see if there's any aggression coming out from the CT side. And the main bit is actually looking over into middle, see if they can find anything early on. The T's just going to be waiting a bit more patiently, but I don't think anybody's going to peek into these spots.
Daps. Waiting for this setup to come into play. Solo's going to have his name marked, walks away with the first kill. He is taking a bit of damage himself. Now the pressure's on. Ethan's looking for it, but Zeph, great timing, pushes down short, finds himself the kill onto Ethan, and that's a heavy hitter dealt with already. Cirque's been dropped down to 12 health. Did he get legged there by Zeta, maybe? Trying to see where the positions are. He actually just, yeah, I think Zeta just legged him.
Oh, that's the open spot. A little bit of a risk, but it doesn't matter. Zeph, he's woken up as well. 3 kills for him in the buy round. And, well, this is what you were sort of saying. We needed all of the players of MVP. The ones that were quiet have now awoken. And NRG, as I said, this is a map that they don't particularly play. I think it was a fairly good veto choice for MVP if they brought through. They're going to even up the scoreline unless, of course, Breezy can go nuclear in 25 seconds, teleport to the bomb, put it onto the site. Basically what I'm saying is it's not going to happen, but they can at least make things costly. Never mind. Zeta beheads him, and we do even things up.
Now, this is interesting, because no bomb plant. You've all gone down. MVP have a solid defense there. They've saved onto a lot of weapons. They have plenty of money anyway because of the SMGs and how they're converting, or NRG not converting the pistol round has worked out for them. So NRG here need to be a little bit more cautious and careful, I feel. I think it will be, okay, they're not going to go for a full save. You're going to see a few pistols born. They believe they can force it. I'm guessing they're hoping to get the bomb plant in. Then you can buy up everything you need, get Cirque back on that AWP and try and deliver once again. But do they just go to try and bust? Yeah, okay, might see a B split potentially. Solo sticking around at mid, wants to just keep control of it. Going to go reposition himself just outside of B. Daps, though, he's got a lot of room to work there. Walks straight up a short, so the defense is aggressive from Zine. The other 2 players on A site playing from CT spawn and looking up towards short. Solo, he knows the pressure's going to come in towards him. Good rotations from MVP. Zeph spraying 1 down. Solo's found himself 2. This is looking good. And Ethan, he's trying to tap away, does a bit of damage, but he can't get it done. And Glow will finish it off. 5 alive again, no rebuy, and solid effort there from MVP.
Yeah, that was fantastic. And the way they actually kicked off the rounds was great as well, is that they sort of took that early long control. But the difference is I don't think we really saw NRG actually exploit it that much. Like, later towards their CT side, they did. They were like, okay, there's nobody here, now we can push and take a bit more control. But we saw that straight away from MVP. They take the control, and then they rotate the players away, so they have great positioning. Like, you see a man also in CT watching the cross. Obviously not that much utility. However, there's that AWP. And this was something we sort of spoke about early in this. It wasn't brought in the previous buy round, and already Cirque has shown the impact of that trusty gun.
It's funny, right? Because the first time Zeta had the AWP for CT side, he didn't want to go and take the challenge at mid because he was aware of Cirque might be having it. This time he goes in for it. Cirque's ready and waiting for him, not from the usual position either. Walks away with the opening kill, and now the pressure's already on because Zine, again, going aggressive at long A, trying to get this little kind of even the scoreboard up a bit, and he was already taking damage, so he knows he's got to be careful. But Solo, he's managing to find Daps at mid, and Solo again, this is, literally, I feel like I'm going back in time because this is exactly how I used to play it.
Oh, it's going to be a fight over on towards long, but the flashbangs haven't really worked for the T side. They're still taking the fights, but there is Ethan. 2 headshots, 2 kills. Now the CT side, they're sort of just left watching the cross. Smokes will actually slow down the T's a little bit because they don't actually know if there's anybody just around that cross position. Now, they don't have a smoke. So this is going to be difficult. They're just going to have to peek pretty much straight into solo or maybe try and joggle the bomb across, but I don't know how good their throwing arm is. I don't think it's going to go that far. Will it get past the corner? No. No. Has he seen it?
I don't know if Solo... Yeah, we didn't see it from Solo's perspective. He might not even seen it, so someone could just grab it, but he's definitely looking to try and claim the kill.
Either way, yeah, he has to peek. He's still going to be watching the angle for the man trying to cross, and a little bit sneaky. I like it, and that pretty much gives them the round. Like, that's the difference. Although Ethan running across, I'm a little bit confused by that. They could have just gone for a long plant, set both of those players up. Either way, it's back into 2v2, and now Cirque peeks as well. Solo in with the chance. Got the deagle, not ideal, and Fugly will just save them. But again, some risky plays that weren't really that necessary from NRG.
That's the second time now for Solo where he's been the last player alive in these 1v1s. He's got the AWP in hand, and I feel like he doesn't have that confidence there like Zeta or Cirque, who will take that close-range AWP duel because, again, NRG are just straight up gunning for him, right? They're going in for the fight. Maybe if he'd pulled it out, it would have had a different scenario. Instead, he's going for the pistols, and he's not managing to make it work just yet. But the score is 11-11. NRG probably didn't expect to go down this many rounds early on. Ethan just taking a spray down, finds Zion as ready. And Zion, he's constantly going aggressive here at long A. Now they've kind of worked it out, and they're not bothered by it. He's not able to have as much flex as he did before.
Yeah, I like this, though, from Solo in mid. He is definitely not, although he may be a little bit more wary when it comes to close-range battles, in terms of actually taking those fights into mid, obviously, you spoke about the fact that the hugely experienced player, Dust2's been in the game for, well, probably longer than I've been alive. And it's one of those things where he's just going to pre-fire the same angle every single time, and, well, he'll know it 10 times out of 10. So, easy kill for him. Cirque out of the round, at least for now. And that's actually the second time that he's done that. Yeah. Picking up the AWP off the AWP's body and then just going like, it's all right, I got it anyway.
So MVP, though, at the moment, don't have massive amount of information to work off of. They've not got any forward positions on A. They can certainly hear at least the push starting to come up towards short, but they've got no full understanding of where the rest of the T's are. NRG have played this quite well. In a 4v4, this does benefit the T's trying to push in, but I don't think they'll expect 3 players to be on this A site.
Yeah, this is a strong setup at the moment from MVP. The jump down already. Breezy is out of it. They don't expect Ethan, though, and those 2 kills. Well, you said it was 3 players. Banks is down to just 1, and Bosef, that's a dangerous spray, but it just about works out for him. Again, into the clutch situation. These rounds have been hella close, and this one's going to match up just the same. Daps not able to connect with the AWP. Nice shot from Glow. Almost finished off Daps as well, who's left on just 14 HP. Misses a second shot, and Glow will put him down. The retake giving the round to MVP, and the money not in a great position for NRG. The fact is, there are only 2 players surviving. They may have the temptation to force it, especially considering it's a sort of one-and-done situation where, I don't know. I think there's arguments for both. They're only going to get a small amount of cash going into the next round anyway, an extra $1,900. But you sort of look at it and go, will $1,900 make a difference?
Yeah.
It will.
Well, the thing here as well is that Ethan, that previous round, 3 kills, busts his way in, looking strong and confident, probably thinking there's no way we're going to lose this round, and still MVP able to get it done. Glow coming up through short, being huge there. We spoke about it already, but MVP, we said we need to see all players be able to kind of show their full skill here. No one is playing sloppy just yet, right? This is a full team game, and I'm guessing NRG just expected a little bit more heads-up Counter-Strike than just this kind of fight they've got on their hands at the moment.
Well, again, aggression through. Obviously, this round's a little bit more empty in terms of the T's, and what Zion has been pretty good at capitalizing in these sort of positions. Now, nobody over on the T side has any Kevlar, so whoever has the rifle, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And although Fugly will take down a second player to at least make things a little bit more expensive, MVP not really in a position where that matters too much to them. They've got plenty of money.
I'm really liking what we're seeing here from MVP. If they get this next round, then they could be looking at match point straight away. A timeout coming in from NRG, only their second so far throughout the game. And let's be honest, MVP have had a lot of work here to do, and they've put the pressure on NRG massively. It's NRG now that need to go, okay, wait a second. What do we need to adjust here to get ourselves ready to kind of close out this game? Because I think regardless of the map choice, NRG would have just looked at this and gone, look, we're not overconfident on it, but we are clearly going to be able to close this whole series out. I guess they expected it to be a Dust2 win, but MVP, they're bringing the pain.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me that they do sort of ban, because obviously at the beginning of this, they did ban themselves Cash, which is a pretty strong map for MVP. So it looked like that was more of a sort of counter like pick in that regard. Dust2, not one of the better ones for MVP by any stretch, but at the same time, it's a map that NRG don't really play. Like, it's one that's not really in their map pool at all. So this could have even been them just trying to float it a little bit. Like, okay, we're not doing too well at Cash. Let's try and throw this into the mix. It's a team that we should be able to beat anyway. But a little bit of a risk. I will say in the last two maps that are coming up, I think they should have it anyway. But you don't even want to give MVP this chance. You don't, because this is obviously one of those matches, I believe, that will knock them out of the tournament.
And that's what happens, right? We get to the best of three stage after playing them best of ones. If things don't go your way, you can quickly close out your run at a tournament here. Zeta, poised and ready, looking up towards short. NRG started to push their way down mid and get up to short. Put a bit of aggression on. This time around, though, they can't find Solo out there, so he's changed up his positioning a little bit. He's going to put himself in this B bomb site. And I think that's one thing NRG were looking to exploit just then at that early push down. They were hoping, okay, Solo, we've got an idea of how he's going to play this, where he's going to be. Let's try and shut him down early and take the advantage. Instead, they've already lost Daps, and now again, NRG on the back foot.
Well, 40 seconds left on the clock. They are going to look to try and push in through middle. They have the smoke for the cross. Solo has been here with the AWP. He's had a strong performance so far, but he hasn't spotted the man crossing. That's going to be the big problem. Cirque, however, is covered by Glow. Ethan eventually will trade things back. The clock ticking further and further, and Ethan, he's just trying to do it all on his own. Breezy will finally chime in with another, and somehow they brought this into a position where they can win the round. It didn't look like it was possible. The thing is now, will there be any mistake? Zine peeking in. Manages to get one, and it's just swung again. How have they managed to lose so much control over this B side? It's the aggressive peaks that are biting them at the moment. Fugly now into the 1 versus 2, and he's going to lose it as well. MVP, a 3v2 over on this B site. NRG, I just not been impressed.
I think Ethan's going to be sat there saying, what more do you want from me, boys? Like, I am forcing our way into sites. I am winning situations across the map, and we still can't close it out. And just, let's say fair respect to MVP. The B site is not an easy site to retake at all. One of the hardest in CSGO, and they did it perfectly. A little bit of an error from NRG, pushing out a B already, putting one player to take that fight in CT, but it allowed them to work all the way around through B tunnels very fast as well and catch NRG completely off guard. And now we're at 14-11. It's only pistols for NRG, Tom. I don't think many of us expected this.
No, definitely not. Well, now we get to see what they can do with the pistols. Close call, but it is going to be an early trade. Now, they do still have Kevlar to a couple of the players, so if they can manage to get this rifle and maybe throw a bit of spice into the mix of what was expected to be a fairly bland round. But Zine is ready and waiting. And he has been playing so aggressive throughout this CT side. I don't think NRG expected this level of confidence. And again, he's going to peek out. It is only going to be one pick. There's still more players. They want more. Zeta finishes off another, and they know this is pistols. This is more of a confidence builder. Still Fugly, you almost had that sort of thought in your mind that he was just going to clonk the second player on the head, but Solo eventually does the job, and they're now at map point.
15-11. MVP looking to take the first map here before we move on to train, and I honestly, I can't see NRG trying to pull this back because they've just not played. Obviously, we spoke about it already. Then Dust2's not a big pick for them anyway, but they wanted it, so they let it go for it. It came into it. It's part of the veto. It's how it works. And they just don't seem as prepared as they have been on other maps. We see so much of NRG, right? And they've looked good, but we speak about their inconsistencies. Map pool I didn't expect was going to be one of them.
Yeah, it looks like, at least within this team, they've got sort of like 5 maps that they're happy to play, and then they're trying to find that golden 6th map. Like the little bit of the boost that they've thrown in there, but already getting the man advantage now. They've just forced off Zeta, who's trying to find that peak back. Now, you can see the patience starting to come in. I think NRG are definitely a team that can sort of learn from their prior mistakes. You can see them waiting patiently for the push coming in through long. But actually, still, Zyne will win that battle. Breezy not going to be able to do anything. Then there's Zeta waiting. The sort of bait and switch as Circus finished off, and this round again swings into the favor of MVP. However, I've sort of learned my lessons of saying that rounds are over because they do seem to fall back at any opportunity. However, if I sat here, 4v2, make that 4v1, Daps trying to save them.
The teamwork on this round was another level from MVP because NRG were going for 1v1 fights, right? They lost every single one of them. And even if they did lose the duel itself, there was another MVP player coming around the corner and saying, hey, look, job's a good one. I'm going to come in and close this out. I'm going to refrag. I'm going to do my job. 5 alive on that previous round. That's definitely gone wrong. Yeah. There was 3 alive, right? 3 alive for the CT side either way. But MVP taking this first map, 16-11 Dust2. We're going to train next, but we'll break this down very shortly as we go to another quick break.